Good evening, everybody. How is everybody tonight? I hope you've all had a fantastic week. I know we have. It seems like we just start on a Monday and we're back at a Thursday. And before we wipe our eyes out, it's going to be Christmas. So this year, I don't know where it's gone to. It's been a weird year, but I know that it can only end well. You know, they say what is first is last and last is first. So if we started in a bad position in the beginning of the year with the COVID, we can only end good. So welcome to all our live stream viewers or all our YouTube video viewers. And all those that are subscribing to our channel already, we want to just say thank you for your support. It's really appreciated. Continue to watch our channel. There are new developments all the time, and we do put little things up on social media regularly just to encourage you. And you know, just sometimes it's just a word in season, and you never know, just one word could change somebody's life. So please like our channel and subscribe if you're not already doing so, and please share this with your friends. And I would like to encourage you guys to, to attend a church, to attend church. You know, it's not only about the word that goes forth on a Sunday, it's the fellowship. And, you know, Jesus himself sat with his disciples and fellowshipped, even before he went to the cross. And so fellowship is really good because you often bounce things off each other, you learn from each other, you input into each other's life. So I really want to encourage you, if you're not active in going to church, do your best to get to church. It's not to please the pastors and it's not to please men, but it will do you good. So without further ado, let's get into the lesson tonight. We're still on the subject of leadership, and it's actually been really exciting. So I'll just quickly recap for 5 minutes just to refresh your memories. The difference between a good leader and a conscious leader is the positioning that you're in. So your first thing as a leader, or generally, you know, we say leadership, but it's this whole teaching is for your general life as well. It doesn't have to mean that you're a leader, because there's good morals in being a conscious leader in your own life. And, you know, so the first thing that you need to do is locate yourself. Where are you? Are you above the neutral line, or are you below the neutral line? Are you in a mode of survival where you're just plodding along and, you know, you're defensive, you're trying to protect yourself at all times, you are always trying to be right because your ego doesn't want to get hurt or your pride doesn't want to get hurt. So, you know, are you putting toxicness into your body because it's all about me, myself, and I? Or are you above the line where you're open and where you're curious, where you ask questions? You know, so the position that you put yourself in is determined by you as a person. You know, you can either be above or below. So a conscious leader will always see a situation as a point of growth. It is a place where you can learn, and every situation that comes against you or comes into your life, it's not necessarily coming against you, it's working for you. And that's the difference between almost being a negative person and a positive person. So, you know, in this instance where we're teaching a good leader versus a conscious leader. So we need to go out every single day and look at our situation and stop and say, what is this teaching me? What can this teach me? How do I benefit from the situation? And how can I determine what my next step is? Because your next step in your walk with Christ, in your walk in the world, in your walk in business, in companies, is what do I do next? You know, I can't stagnate and stay where I am. And that's also one of the reasons why getting into the Word every day of your life and sitting under the Word and fellowshipping in a congregational sense, it brings a sense of where to now? What do I do with this? I'm not stagnating now. I'm learning from this. I'm learning from my brothers and sisters. I might just see Colin do something and think, you know what, I should be doing that. And it might be a growth point in my life. So that was part one of our teaching. And then we went on to discussing the difference between being content focused and context focused. Now, content is where you worry about the subject, and it's all about, getting the paperwork in control, and you're not really worried about how it affects your team or how it affects your people. Where a context-based leader or a conscious leader that looks at context, he will ask, where are you? And try and bring his congregation or his team or his people alongside of him. It's no longer, I'm the right one and you will listen to what I have to say, and it's black and it's white and there's no gray. It's now a team effort. And a conscious leader will always ensure that his team, together with himself, wins. And because he's conscious about the context of the meeting, how it's going, is everybody comfortable? Have you got pens? Have you got paper? Have you been to the bathroom? Those type of questions. How are you feeling today? They get results done because everybody pulls together. It's not like you're feeling isolated because this one person is saying, well, that's how it is done, And you can't function as a team in the light of, I will dictate to you, because if you try and dictate to me, I just shut off. Because in my opinion, I've also got an opinion, and sometimes the two opinions together make a scenario. Yes, there's a difference in submitting to an authority. So if you do have a boss or a leader that is dictative and is one person who will say, just do what I'm telling you to do, and that's the end of it, you do submit to that authority. But it's not necessarily the right way, because it doesn't necessarily get the results that you need to get out. Because some people are very introverted and they'll just shut off and close, and then there's no creativity, there's no innovation, and there's nothing that they are able to achieve except just do what they're told to do. So sometimes there is a better way to do things, but that's why a team works together as a team. And a conscious leader is aware of a team working together. So every person in that team matters. Every person in the church matters. So we are trying not to live in a defensive and a state of fear, where we are reacting with our leadership out of fear. And it's easy to get into fear, but perfect love casts out all fear. So a person who listens and who is aware of other people tends to love easier than a person who just walks in and it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that basically is just in a nutshell the last two lessons that we have learned. Tonight we're going to look at part 3, which is, are you a present leader? Conscious leaders are present leaders. In other words, they are there in the moment, okay? Remember, they are interested in their workers and their people. So they listen to them attentively. These leaders get involved and are active in every situation, not to benefit themselves, but because they're forced to, but because they achieve or they see the bigger picture. So a conscious leader will always look ahead. Remember I said that you look and see, how can I make my destiny? What is my next step? So a conscious leader will always look at, what's my next step? Where am I going? What am I doing? And they are very team orientated, so they are interested in their people. So what does it mean to be present? It means to pay attention to what is here right now. Most of us aren't here right now, and we're not now enough. In other words, it's like, I remember somebody once said, a worker had walked down a passage, and the boss was trying to talk to him, and he was SMSing a friend on his cell phone. And the boss said to him, you know, I can't get your attention. And he said, but I'm here. And he said, no, I don't have your full attention. Put your cell phone away. You know, so or you're sitting at a dinner table, and the first thing people do is put their cell phones down on the table. That means that you are not giving that dinner party the undivided attention, because at any time that screen can go on and your eyes will distract. So that's what I mean by being in the present. To know we are not here now. So in the previous teachings we asked the question, where am I? And that's the first thing again we got to do. Where am I right now? Is my mind here? Are you focused on what I'm saying and what I'm doing? Carl's not, but anyway. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's so easy to get distracted. You know, the dog will jump against the window and all of us look, or we think it's cute, but it's actually taking our focus away from where we need to be. And a conscious leader has trained himself to hone in and to focus on that specific moment. And I remember many years ago, somebody said to me, how do you hear all the instruments that you play in a band, you know, when you're in a band? And I said, because I've trained to focus on each instrument. And it's a technique I taught myself, is to hone in on only that instrument and listen to only that instrument. And that is what it is to be a present leader, is to focus solely on what you're busy with, like right now. So we as people often pay attention to past things that had happened. You know, when I was there, when I went here. You know, this happened to me a few years ago, and we are so focused on what has happened in the past. And there's no future in our past. Or we focus elsewhere at that moment, like I explained with the dog. The past could be from guilt, or it could be an argument that you had with your spouse before you came to church, or a fellow worker, or even going back yesterday or a week ago or even further. It could be fear of your parents because they didn't challenge you. Equally possible is that instead of you being here right now, your focus is on the future. So while you're listening to the pastor preaching, you're thinking of the exams that you've got to write in 2 weeks' time, or what am I going to do tomorrow? You know, I've got to do this, and I've got to make sure my bank balance is in. You know, your mind wanders, or, you know, let me plan my next holiday. You know, so, or you start worrying about whether you have enough money. You know, I'm listening to Colin preaching, but, you know, tomorrow's Monday, and it starts again, and what about wages on Friday? And, you know, so your mind wanders. And that's not being in the present. So physically, there are ways that we can focus ourselves. Or that we are not focused, like checking your emails when somebody's talking to you, or texting while you're on a date, or in a meeting, or at any other time. It also is looking and comparing others and what they are doing to your situation. So you are not present in your own situation because you're too worried about what that person is doing, and I need to try and be like that person. And God's never intended us as people to ever be a carbon copy of anybody. You know, I was telling somebody, I think it was a friend of mine yesterday, she said something, I showed her a shirt that we'd made for my sister. And I said to her, well, the green is not really my sister's green, but she, she does wear them. I said, but the brighter colors are more my colors. And my twin sister wears the pastel colors. And she said, that's very strange because you're identical twins. And I said, yes, but nobody, not even identical twins, have the same identity or the same fingerprint. So, we try and compare ourselves because we think those people have achieved what we think we should be achieving. Instead of taking what God has said to us and making who He told us to be and being the best me. I am the best me for every one of you sitting here, for everyone. You can't get another me. There is just no other me. So, that's being present in my moment. I accept who I am, what I am, and what God has made me to be. And when I hone in on that, I become the best that I can be because I allow His perfect blueprint to take hold of my life. And it's no longer me trying to do what He's actually done. We sometimes are distracted, by the television. And when our parents are watching the news, and then your dad shouts at you, be quiet, I'm watching the news, because that's his moment. So it's the present focus of where I am right now is what we're talking about. The impact on others is that we are not attending to the now moment. So people see that. And they sometimes think, yes, that person's loskoppig, but it's because they're not focused. Or you're having a conversation with somebody and they're looking at you and you're talking to them, and the next thing somebody's talking there and they keep looking there, and you just know they're not hearing what you are saying. And 90% of the time when you do that, you will answer that person incorrectly because you haven't heard what they've actually said. And that's why people who are not present in the moment do not get the results that they need to win at the end of the day, because they are drawing at strings of little tidbits that they are actually picking up. So presencing is, when I saw this word, I thought, oh my gosh, I've never seen that word, but it is in the dictionary. Presencing is the art of paying attention to what is here now. This skill is learned, and as every skill is, it can be practiced. So the next part of your notes, just hold them over. We're not going to do the practical exercise. We'll do that at the end. Okay, so remember that being present is paying attention to what is actually here right now. You are in this exact moment. You will not miss anything when you are focused. There will be no frustration, no anger, no resentment, and no other feelings. Conscious leaders have the ability, and that is why things get resolved. That is why people come to them, because they are present and they listen, and they are able to make the right choice. When you make a choice on your feelings and your abilities and your own ego, it's 90% the wrong choice. In this state, and with the ability, you will begin to recognize when you are here right now. It is only then that you will make the shift. So if you want to go from being under the line in the fear, in the defense, in the survival mode, to being open and conscious and curious and learning, you need to make a shift. And the only way to do that is to be in your present. Because when you focus on where am I right now, then you can evaluate where you need to be. Being present allows you to be more focused in all your areas of your life. You see, when you practice something and you get good at that, it seems to enhance everything else. It's like when I practice the piano. The piano is, yes, it's music, but the music can heal and calm and help. And so in practicing that, I'm focusing to do one thing, but it gives me the ability to be able to focus in other areas. And it gives me the ability to have something that I can hold on to change what I need to change, because everything else just seems to then fall into place when you learn how to do what you need to do. When you have a clear mind, then that is focused. You now know how to put into place to influence the situation. You will be able to make the right decisions for the best outcome. You will start to see that the moments in your life and the lives of others become more meaningful and fuller and full of purpose. After all, our whole lives should be about people and how they grow, how we grow, and how together we can extend the kingdom of God. Because that is our purpose in life, is to extend the kingdom of God. And we can only do that when we allow other people to grow. You know, it doesn't help you being the senior pastor of your church and you don't want the people to come up with you, because then you'll stand on the ladder alone. You've got to bring the people up with you so that they can continue also to hold you up as the senior pastor of the church. And so you grow. So our whole purpose should be around people and how we make them grow. And if I'm not making you grow because I'm holding myself back, then neither you nor I have a purpose in life. When you focus, everything begins to improve. You see, good leaders, or to me leaders in general, are narrow-minded and therefore unable to focus on anything but me, myself, and I. This does not extend God's kingdom. When I have placed myself as the center of protection, I won't let my ego get to me, I won't let my pride be hurt, then how can I allow Christ to shine through me? Because I'm not allowing him in. It's all about me. And you know, Christian stands for Christ. Without Christ, I am nothing. I am nothing without him. So how can I promote myself above what he is doing? And a conscious leader will listen to the Spirit, because we are focused in on what the Spirit is telling us, and we're sensitive to hear and to listen and to then react. So I ask you the question again, are you here right now? When you are a leader that is present and focused, you create the following. You create more energy, a deeper connection, an increased creativity, and awareness. When you are fully engaged, you love, you're confident, and there's a sustainable transformation in you and your people. So believe it. You always have a choice. You create your own reality. In the power of play, suffering is optional. You have a choice to suffer or not. And always telling the truth. Those are qualities that you get when you are focused. You will learn to always tell the truth. You know, you will realize that you don't have to suffer, it's a choice. you will realize that you always have a choice. There's two sides to every story. It's never only one. Hebrews 12 verse 1 says now, and we said you've got to be here now. So now, faith is the evidence of things not yet seen and the substance of things hoped for. So be focused, be present, and be in the now moment. So I'm going to teach you 5 little steps I'm going to teach you a practical exercise, okay? And if you do this exercise, I promise you for 30 days, you will automatically be focused at any one stage. You will train yourself how to be focused. So I want everybody to sit on a comfortable chair. You are obviously sitting on comfortable chairs. Okay, you need to put all your books and your papers down so that there's nothing distracting you. Okay, and that you're not going to be disturbed. So Carl, you come sit this side. Okay, so then what you do is you set a timer for 10 minutes, or we won't do it for 10 minutes, we'll only do it for 1 minute because it's just a practical exercise. So then you set your timer for your 10 minutes or your 5 minutes. Then you close your eyes. So everybody close your eyes. Pause for a moment. Now I want you to take 3 deep breaths. So I want you to focus on your breath before you take the breath. Some people breathe from their stomach. So their tummy, there's 3 different points of identification. The first is your stomach will push out or push in when you breathe in. So, okay. The other is in your throat. You can feel it in your throat. Or your nostrils. So I want you just to look for one of those 3 points and focus on your breathing so everybody close your eyes, Carl. Okay. So I want you to breathe in and breathe out. And you focus on whichever you want to recognize that you are breathing. Okay, so now what you do is you breathe in for 1 count. You exhale for 2. So it's 1, 2. Then you breathe in for 3. And you breathe out for 4. Okay? Then you breathe in for 5. And you breathe out for 6. Okay? And you focus on nothing. If you find your mind's wandering, focus back on your breath. Where am I breathing? That's the sole point that you've got to focus on, is where am I breathing? Is it in my belly, in my throat, or am I feeling it in my nose? So you'll feel how your body just responds to your breathing. Now that's a practical exercise to bring your thoughts into one place. And you can do this for 5 minutes every day, for 30 days. It will become a part of you. And then slowly, surely, you will train your mind, like with me, where I can listen to only one instrument in a whole symphony. It's because I've learned to do exactly this. I've learned to focus in on only that. So that is your sole focus. And you find your mind wants to wander, but you've got to bring it back to your breath so that you are constantly honing it back to the point where it needs to be. And this is a thing that you train yourself to do. So you practice, and the more you practice, the better you become. So it's often easier said than done, especially like with teenagers. Their minds wander very quickly, but it's a choice you make. Am I going to do this or am I not going to do it? And the best place to actually do this for me was lying on my bed. I remember when I started with vocal training, Tammy said to me, lie on your bed and focus on your tummy expanding and contracting with your breath, because people breathe the wrong way. And it was only when I started thinking, but hold on, I've got to push my stomach out when I breathe in and in when I exhale, that I started to focus on the right breathing. And it makes it so much easier when you do what you need to do in the right way. And that is what this training session does. So it's been a very short session this morning. So I want you to go this weekend. I want you to practice your breathing. I might test you next week. See if you can breathe. No. So just to sort of crown it all, in a nutshell for you, we've got to be present. We've got to be in our now moments. We've got to make the most of what is happening right now. You know what? We often miss an opportunity because we're not present. And, your mind is so busy and you're on 3 or 4 different things. And I know, like with me at work, my mind is so active, and I've got to do this and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And by the end of the day, I look and I think, but I haven't done any of them. And it's because you're not focused. It's better to rather take your point, focus, get it done, and then move on. And that is what a good and conscious leader does, is they focus on the present moment. So I challenge you all to start being aware. Am I focusing on when you're talking to me? Am I concentrating on you, or is my cell phone more important, or the TV or something like that? So it's a general thing. It's a good thing to have. It's a good habit to have in general life. Because it's totally rude if you're sitting at a dinner table and everybody's got their cell phones out. So I challenge you this week to go ahead and try and focus on that moment of that day. Not in the past, not in the present, now. And you'll see, you will start to shift from your fears and your anxieties to the openness and the learning. So blessings. I hope that was a good teaching. Next week we're going to carry on. There are a couple more, and they're very exciting. So next week we're going to be talking about how you react and in a drama situation. What do you do in a drama situation? You've got heroes and victims, and which one are you? So next week we will do the drama triangle. And blessings. I hope you have an amazing week further. I'll see you next week.